So I'm delighted to meet Brad via online. So Brad, I met you about 2017 originally, and what I noticed straight away was tough mudder. So we can
Yeah.
come back to that conversation. Feel free.
Yeah, I'm still trading off my 2015 finish. We're 2 years down the line. 3.
Okay, so three years ago.
Yeah.
So you're from Goliath Sourcing Academy, and your partner is Mark Dunsmore. People can catch a much more detailed interview with Ryan Carruthers. So Ryan has done a podcast interview with you. Not sure what episode it is, but if people have a look online, they can certainly find that. Brad, I know you came along to my summit in 2017 and then in 2018 as well, just recently, about 2 weeks ago. What was your experience of coming along to the summit?
Well, the whole kind of development side of things and property development on a larger level for me is really something that I've got into over the last 18 months or so. So just jumping back to the relationship between Mark Dunsmore and I at Goliath Sourcing Academy, I'm very much like the digital marketing guy, the online guy, the outsourcing, small business growth. Mark is the out and out property sourcing and deal packaging guy. So what we did was we came together. He understood the value that marketing can bring to growing an organization. So that's what our relationship is. So you can find more about us at goliathsourcingacademy.com. But in terms of, so the next step in my property journey is moving on to larger developments. I've done a couple of smaller developments, full house refurbs, conversions, that type of thing. So I really went to the summit just to start getting deeper into that community, that kind of sub niche of the property community. And the value what's great about your events, Brendan, is these are people on the coalface doing the thing that they are talking about. So the presentations are very informational based. There's no kind of market. As a marketer, I can spot somebody selling to me a mile off, and you just don't see that at your summit, which is great. And I really enjoyed taking in all that information. I kind of one of these weird people that like being overwhelmed with information because I know eventually I'll make sense of it all. And that's exactly what happens. And I think what I always do is make sure the evening at the end of the summit I keep clear, because the people that you're attracting are just doing the development thing. They're doing commercial conversions, doing just generally all of the development strategies, and they're all doing it and they're all making money, and it's just great networking. So I really enjoy that.
You actually leave the evening to continue the networking. Is that what you're saying, Brad?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my wife says, "When are you coming home?" And I said, "Just don't expect me till late." It's because it's great. It's just when I think, okay, it's time to go now, I get into a conversation with someone else, and I'm just learning a whole bunch of stuff, which is great. And I like to feel as though I can add something on the, while I'm not an out and out property expert, I'm also, I feel as though I understand my personal branding and my marketing exceptionally well, which is how I've built my career over the last 10 to 15 years. So I can add to the conversation. Yeah.
In terms of how you connected with Mark, did you meet in a networking environment, online, or?
We actually, it's quite interesting that, because we actually, I knew that when I came full time into property, which was about 3 years ago, I knew that I made sense of the fact that every property deal starts with a lead. And as a marketer, I generate leads. That's what I do. I'm a lead generator. So I knew I could add a lot of value, and the place that I could add the value was in sourcing deals. So generate the lead, secure the deal, package the deal on. So Mark and I noticed that Mark was doing some Facebook ads, and he was remarketing to me. And I thought, well, this is interesting. This guy evidently knows that there is this opportunity online through Facebook ads to remarket his deals to people, etc. So I picked up the phone and we had a chat, and we got on like a house on fire, and we developed the relationship. We started working on a joint venture basis. I was doing the lead generation of the deals. He was securing the deals and selling them on. And it worked so well. We developed that relationship out to the point where we made the decision that we were going to become 50-50 partners. So we did that in Goliath Property Solutions, which is our sourcing and deal packaging company. And then because of his vast amount of experience in property through estate agency and letting agents, etc., we made the decision to set up Goliath Sourcing Academy, which was the training business. So that's been an amazing experience, putting podcasts out there. We're very big on content marketing and making sure that we offer as much value as possible to people for free. So that's in a nutshell how that relationship developed.
Where does aspects like PPC come in for you as well, Brad?
Well, PPC for me essentially comes into two buckets. You've got Facebook ads and you've got Google ads. But PPC essentially is pay-per-click, which is any traffic it's essentially putting an advert in front of anybody online and getting them to click on an ad. That's essentially what PPC is. But as I say, two buckets, Google ads and Facebook ads. And there is such a huge opportunity in property to utilize not Facebook organic reach, but Facebook ads, being very targeted with who you put those ads in front of, with a very specific message focused on the particular audience that you're looking to communicate that message to and connect with. Now, whether that can be used in a range of different areas, in a different, so you could be if you're looking to attract investors, if you're looking to market your deals online, if you're looking to generate leads from, vendors, from homeowners, from, there's so many different areas that you can utilize pay-per-click traffic, and Facebook is the big opportunity, really.
Sure. Brad, you're going to go into a lot more detail because I know I promised this would be a short video. So
with you and me, Brendan, that's tough.
Yeah, I know. So in terms of our listeners, Ryan came up with an idea. He said to me, and I'm open to ideas. So, if you've got ideas, things you'd like to hear. So Ryan said, why not create a marketing stroke branding panel? So Ryan, of course, put himself onto that marketing branding panel. And he said, why not invite Brad to be on the panel as well? So date we're looking at is in June. It's not confirmed yet in terms of date because I've got to get Ryan to confirm. So if there's any questions before the meet, I'd encourage you just to submit them. So at least we can have a flavour of what some of the key questions are before the meet, and then cover that in that particular evening event. So it's going to be in London Bridge. It's easy to get to. It's literally yards from Shard. As I say, Ryan Carruthers, for those of you who don't know, is an award-winning developer based in Lincoln. So
great marketer as well.
Yeah. So what would you say about Ryan, Brad?
Ryan isn't even 30 yet, which is unbelievable considering the mature head that guy has on his shoulders. And I mean, him and I talk, multiple times a week about, property deals that we're looking at, the marketing yourself as an investor. And he just talks so much sense, and he's not afraid to listen, but he's not afraid, and he's confident enough to put his opinion in the ring as well. For somebody so young, it's very impressive. He's a very impressive guy in that regard. So I would say one thing as well, Brendan, that came out of the summit was this interest in that developers had in personal branding and using this content marketing digital approach to leverage the relationship building with potential investors. So that's something that we could talk about.
Do you think this would be happening, though, if it wasn't for crowdfunding?
That's a really interesting question. And I think it's definitely come onto the radar more and more as developers see the opportunity to get funding through crowdfunding. But the big difference between having, 3 investors that you've got very deep relationships with and having 35, 40, 100 investors in the crowd, you have to use very different techniques and methods and strategies to build those two sets of relationships. And the latter, where you need 100, 150, 200 in the crowd, is where the internet and leveraging digital strategies really comes into its own. And that's just not being done in property at the moment. It's not being done, and it's a really exciting area for developers to kind of, step out of their comfort zone and start using those strategies to build their brand.
So, Brad, I look forward to seeing you hopefully in June. As I say, date's got to be confirmed. Just the call to action for the listeners out there. Literally, if you've got some questions you'd like answered on the evening, whether it's on PPC, whether it's on SEO, whether it's on, what are the key aspects of branding, what are the fundamentals, lots of UK is influenced by the likes of Gary Vaynerchuk, maybe Grant Cardone to an extent as well. I see him as a marketer. Probably sees himself slightly different to the way I see him, but he's online in a number of different formats. Brad, I just want to say huge thanks for taking time out this morning.
Pleasure.
How can people find out more about Goliath Sourcing Academy?
Well, if you go to goliathsourcingacademy.com, that's where the home of our podcast, blogs, there's a massive, and yes, we do have a membership program, and yes, we will try and sell you something, but we're a business. But at the same time, we offer probably the largest body of free and valuable content of any property training company, I would hazard a guess, in the UK. So there's plenty to be getting on with without the need to buy anything from us. So yeah, go to goliathsourcingacademy.com, and I'll put in a link under here. I'll also put the link to my 3-part series on personal branding for property professionals.
So that might be a good, not prerequisite, but good head start for those coming along to the, I was almost going to say summit, but it's pre-summit event. So in June, hopefully in June, we'll confirm the date as we get a little bit closer. Brad, I just want to say huge thanks for taking that time out this morning.
Pleasure.
Now, I want to say huge thanks to the listeners, and just a call to action for the listeners. Another call. If you've got an interesting story to share, let me know. I'm open to seeing different sites as well. I'm off to Kent next week, and I'm off to Brighton. It's not a site as such, it's a finished product. I'm off to Brighton tomorrow. So, Brad, huge thanks, and huge thanks to our listeners as well. Thank you.
Thanks.